ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen and ladies, girls and boys, boys and girls. Welcome back to our channel, Inspirational Minutes with David. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notifications, and let you know our channel is back on. Also hit the like and share that helps our channel to grow. Thank you in advance. You already know the routine. The audacity of work, a memoir of a man who's been mentally asleep by yours truly, David Butler. Thank you in advance. Welcome back. Welcome back to our channel. Welcome back to our build. Welcome back, beautiful people. Welcome back, family. Today, Inspirational Minutes with David. Today, it's entitled His Story. His Story. Now, I'm gonna leave you a second. I left my notes. Let me go get my notes because we have a lesson today. We have a lesson today. So let me get my notes. And I know you've been watching what's going on, and what's been the big news for the past week and a half. Let's talk. Let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation. All right, Inspirational Minutes with David today is properly titled The His Story Lesson. And we're going to talk about a touchy subject today. You've probably been hearing about it on the news and all throughout the week. Almost 2 weeks now. So I must have a strong shot before we begin. Touchy subject. Thank you in advance. Let's go. I know you've been hearing about that. What's been going on? Israelis, the Gaza Strip. So that's why I named this bill. Let me get comfortable. That's why I named this bill the history lesson. The His Story Lesson. And his story, by the way. I'm gonna talk about the Gaza Strip first. Why the his story or history of a densely populated enclave is key to understanding the current conflict. I'm reading a little bit, okay? It said the focus on the Middle East has again returned to the Gaza Strip, with Israel defense minister ordering a complete siege of the Palestinian enclave. He declared a war, by the way. 6,000 bombs dropped a day for the last week. But wait, there's more. Let me give you his story. His story of what's going on. The military operation, which involves extensive bombing of residents, follows a simple surprise attack on October 7, 2023. The Hamas militants who infiltrated Israel from Gaza and killed more than 900 Israelis. I think it's like the number's like 1,500 now, something of that sort. I also think they have like 150 hostages. And so many mean things that's going on, inhumane things that's going on. In the reprisal airstrikes, the Israel army has killed over 2,000 Gazans. And that figure could escalate in the coming days. Meanwhile, in order to cut off all food, electricity, and water to Gaza, will only worsen the plight of residents that has been called the world's largest open air prison. Now, how did Gaza, How did Gaza Strip become one of the most densely populated parts of the planet? Question mark. And why is it home to a militant Palestinian action now? And so the person who wrote this is his name is Maha Nazar, associate professor in the School of Middle Eastern and North African Studies, University of Arizona. The scholar goes to say, as a scholar of Palestinian historian, I believe understanding the question to those answers provide crucial historical context to the current violence. So we have a brief history of Gaza. So the brief history of Gaza. So this is the Gaza Strip. The Gaza Strip is a narrow piece of land. It's a narrow piece of land on the southeastern shore of the Mediterranean Sea, roughly twice the size of Washington, D.C. It's wedged between Israel and its north and east, and Egypt to its south. The ancient trade in the seaport, Gaza, has long been part of the geographic region known as Palestine. And by the early 20th century, it's mainly inhabited by Muslim and Christian Arabs who lived under the Ottoman rule. When Britain took control of the Palestine following World War I, intellectuals in Gaza joined the emergent Palestinian national movement. During the 1948 war that established the state of Israel, the Israel military bombed 29 villages in southern Palestine, leading tens of thousands of villagers to flee the Gaza Strip under the control of the Egyptian army that were deployed after Israel declared independence. Most of them and their descendants remain there today. Following the 1967 Six-Day War between Israel and its Arab neighbors, the Gaza Strip came under Israeli military occupation. The occupation has resulted in systematic human rights violations. According to the rights group Amnesty International, including forcing people off their land, destroying and decimating homes, and crushing every non-violent form of political dissent. Palestine staged two major uprisings, 1987 through 1991, and in 2000 through 2005, hoping to end the occupation and establish an independent Palestinian state. Hamas, a Palestinian Islamic militant group centered in Gaza, was founded in 1988 to fight against the Israeli occupation. Hamas and other militant groups launched repeated attacks on the Israeli targets in Gaza, leading to Israel's unilateral withdrawal from Gaza in 2005. In 2006, Palestinian elections were held. Hamas beat its secular rival, Fatah, which had been widely accused of corruption. Elections have been held in Gaza since 2006. But polling from March 2023 found that 45% of the Gazans would back Hamas should there be a vote ahead of the Fatah at 32%. A brief conflict between Hamas and Fatah militants in May 2007. Hamas took complete control of the Gaza Strip, and since then Gaza has been under administrative control of the Hamas, even though it's still considered to be under Israeli occupation by the United Nations, the United States State Department, and other international bodies. So, who are the Palestinians of the Gaza Strip? There are more than 2 million inhabitants of the Gaza Strip and are part of the 14 million strong global the global community of the Pakistanis. 1/3 of the Gaza's inhabitants trace their family roots to the land inside the Gaza Strip. The remaining 2/3 are refugees from the 1948 war and their descendants, many of them who hailed from towns and villages surrounding Gaza. The Palestinians of Gaza trend young. Nearly half of the population is under 18. The enclave is very poor, and the poverty rate stands at 53%. And despite this grim economic picture, educational levels are quite high. Over 95% of the Gazan children ages 6 to 12 are in school. The majority of the Palestinian students in Gaza graduate from high school, and 57% of the students in are at the prestigious Islamic University of Gaza are female, and that's 57% of them are female. But because of the circumstances of their surroundings, young Palestinians in Gaza find it difficult to live fulfilling lives. For graduates between the ages of 19 and 29, the unemployment rate stands at 70%. That's a 7 and a 0. 70%. And a World Bank survey earlier this year found 71% of Gazans show signs of depression and high levels of PTSD. There are several factors that contribute to these conditions. A major factor is the crippling 16-year blockade that Israel and Egypt, with the United States support, have imposed on Gaza. And the years of blockade. Shortly after the 2006 elections, the Bush administration tried to force the Hamas from power and bring in a rival leader from the Fatah party, who was considered friendlier to Israel, and the United States Hamas preempt coup to full control of Gaza. May 2007, in response, Israel and Egypt, with the United States and European support, closed the border crossings into and out of the Gaza Strip and imposed an air, land, and sea blockade. The blockade, which is still in effect, limits the import of food, fuel, construction material, limits how far Gaza fishermen can go out to the sea, bans all exports, and imposes strict limitations on the movement of people into and out of Gaza. In 2023, Israel has allowed only 50,000 people a month to exit Gaza, according to the UN figures. The years of closure has devastated the lives of Palestinians in Gaza. Inhabitants there don't have enough water for drinking and sanitation. They face electricity cuts that run from 12 to 18 hours per day, each day. Without adequate water and electricity, Gaza's fatal health care system is on the brink of collapse, according to the medical rights group of the Medical Aid for Palestine. These restrictions hit the young and the weak of the Gaza particularly hard, and Israel routinely denies sick patients the permits they need to receive medical care outside of Gaza. Bright students with scholarships to study abroad often find they are unable to leave. And UN experts say that this blockade is illegal under international law. They argue that the blockade amounts to collective punishment of the Palestinians of Gaza, a violation of the Hajj Convention and the Geneva Convention that form the backbone of the international law. And they ended with this: no ends of suffering. Israel says that the blockade on Gaza is necessary to secure the safety of its population and will be lifted when the Hamas renounce violence, recognize Israel, and abides by previous arguments. But they go on to say, but the Hamas consistently rejected this ultimatum. Instead, military fighters stepped up, the firing of homemade rockets and mortars into the populated areas surrounding the Gaza Strip in 2008. They're seeking to pressure Israel to lift the blockade. They have sporadically attacked Israel in this way in the years since. So, It's a tragedy that the civilians were the brute of this conflict. It's a tragedy that throughout history, it's historic. And as a man, it's a tragedy that we, men of the past, the leaders, the one who won the wars, the victors, were the ones who told their side of his story. That was a little bit of a his story lesson. After the World War II, 1948, that land, what they're fighting over, what they have conflict with, they moved them out. The land was bought, and they moved the Israelis in, made it their land. And what confused me or behooves me is that under the biblical Bible, you have Abraham. And you see, Abraham is the father of all three of the great religions, the Abrahamic religions: Islam, Judaism, Christianity. Now, Abraham had two sons. One named Isaac, one named Ishmael. Ishmael's the oldest. They both come from Abraham. They come from his line, right? They come from his body. They come from his seed, right? Sarah, which is Abraham's wife, thought that she was too old to bear Abraham a child. She told Abraham to go with the bridesmaid or the concubines, or one of the concubines, and seeking he can produce a child with his concubine. It happened. That's how Ishmael come apart. She didn't believe in God that she could have a child. And then she had a child later. So, when she had her child, which was Isaac, the child he had with Hagar, I think that's her name, Abraham did, which is Ishmael, was ordered off the land. Right? But they both got blessed. 12 tribes of Israel. And Ishmael was blessed with the oil. I think that's a blessing. And that's what they say in his story, where the Arab community derived from Ishmael. Now take a moment to think about the context, what I just said. And take a moment, and while we're doing this, let's take a moment to think about the context in which your next decision will occur. You see, you did not pick your parents or the time and the place of your birth. You didn't choose your gender or most of your life experiences, right? You had no control whatsoever over your genome, or the development of your brain. And now your brain's making choices on the basis of preferences and beliefs that you have been hammered into over a lifetime, that you've been given a script to right out the womb. His story by your genes, your physical development. And since the moment you were conceived, the interactions that you had with other people, events, and ideas. Now, where is the freedom in this? Where? Yes, you're free to do what you can do or do what you want to do, even now. That's your freedom. But where did your desires come from? See, you have to start questioning these things. Question these things. And then you begin to see a lot clearer. then you begin to understand what's going on in this world. You see, this is a history lesson. Okay? To get you to understand, understand what the hell is going on. I truly believe by 2050, 2060, by means of limited wars, organized academics, of rapid acting diseases, diseases, and starvation, energy, food, and water shall be kept at a substantive levels for the non-elite. You see, maybe Gaza is the protocol, the blueprint, right? It's gonna start with certain populations, and they might just start it, as I'm thinking, I've been researching, they're gonna start it with the because they're gonna practice division. They're gonna practice divide and conquer. So they'll start it with the white populations of Western Europe and North America, and then spread to other races. The population of Canada, Western Europe, and the United States will be decimated, destroyed more rapidly than other continents. Because we've been a little bit spoiled. We see the stuff that's going on in the news. Now we've been over here in North America, and we've been protected. We've been spoiled. But it's coming. It's coming. The story is coming. And they're gonna do that. And it's gonna be very rapid than all the other continents until the world's population reaches a manageable level of 1 billion, of which 500 million will consist of the Asian, Chinese, and Japanese races, selected because they are people who have been regimented for centuries, and who are accustomed to obeying authority without question. From time to time, there will be artificially contrived food. They're doing it now with the GMO fake foods now. GD print food. Right? They're doing it now. But people don't even realize, because we keep living. We're not evolving. We're just living. We think that people that talk like me and people who are critical thinkers like us are crazy. But you'll see. There will be, from time to time, there shall be artificial contrived food and water shortages and medical care to remind the masses that their very existence depends on the goodwill of the top 300 or the 1% club. And after the destruction of the automobile, the housing, the steel and heavy instrument or industries, there shall be limited housing and industries of any kind allowed to remain under the direction of NATO's NATO club of Rome. As shall all scientific and space exploration development limited to the elite under the control of the Committee of 300. Now, space weapons and all former nations shall be destroyed along with their nuclear weapons All essential and non-essential pharmaceuticals will be allocated by the controllers. The his story lesson. I'm gonna end it with this. Do you know what mycelium is? Mycelium, or mycorrhiza, mycorrhyza. It's a fungus that is expanding underground, creating a network of connection between all plant species, such as the roots of trees, for example. Something like the internet connections and networks that we have today, which allows them not only to communicate, but besides taking care, protecting, feeding, and supplying water. You see, for example, when a tree is cut down from the forest, this mycelium communicates to the rest of the trees that one of them is agonizing, and the others through the mycelium begin to care for the remaining trunk to try to save their life. They feed him or her water. They feed her. They feed him. They water him. They water her and protect him, because that dying log is part of the forest family. And what happened with us, we have a network, mycelium, through the internet, social media, and all that. But sometimes we get it a little bit confused. Sometimes we get it twisted and tangled. And I'm gonna tell you this little story. Then I'm gonna leave you one more thing. They had an axe, I should say, with a wooden handle, right? Okay. Now, I left you with that. The family of the forest was wondering why the forest was shrinking. They had no idea why the forest was shrinking, why their fellow mates were being cut down and decimated. They had no idea. They saw it, but they had no idea. They thought the axe was a part of the family because they had a wooden handle. You get it? I'm going to leave you with this, because I have a lot of compassion. I really do care about people. And compassion hurts. And when you feel connected to everything, that's when it hurts the most, because I feel connected to everything. You also feel responsible for everything. And guess what? You cannot turn away. Your destiny is bound with the destiny of others. You must either learn to carry the universe or be crushed by it. You must grow strong enough to love the world, yet empty enough to sit down at the same table with its worst horrors. You made it this far in our Inspirational Minutes with David. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notifications, and let you know our channel's back on. Hit the like and share. Also, yes, get the book, Kindle, softcover, hardcover, and audio book as well. Know that, as I always say, I say this a lot, if I love myself, I love you. If you love you, I love myself. I'm going to leave you in peace. Positive energy always create evolution. I love you. I love you in truth. Peace.